Alrighty, so this is just an evening stream because I wanted to do the relayout of the deposit and spend, basically the deposit, the spending, and the import CSV forms. I wanted to do those sort of offline. So one of the nice things about using TimeLeaf is that I can you can preview the page. So if you've ever used anything like JSP or pages that are not sort of previewable, they're not really HTML, they're really hard to work with. And so one of the nice things about TimeLeaf is that you can preview the page. However, the problem here is that it's not reading the static Kid Bank stuff. Because it assumes that the Kid Bank CSS is in the same directory as the template. So I can temporarily repoint it to static, but that's something, so we can do /static Kid Bank CSS and then reload the page. And okay, so then this gives us at least our baseline CSS. I'll take a note to figure out how to do that, because typically you I wonder if there's a th tag that will help us with that. So let's see, static CSS. So this adds a resource handler, but that just repoints things. So we want link, allows an interception of link URLs, form URLs, and form field. It's not quite what I want. What I want is, I want this href in the link to point to static Kid Bank CSS when I'm previewing it. But when oh, okay. So I wonder if I can use th. Yes, maybe that'll work. So what I can do is I can put in, so this is the href sort of that will be used when I'm just previewing it. But I can do a th, wouldn't be a source, it would be an href. Although, what does th source do? So they do call the process URL before rendering the URL. So I can do, basically give it the directory of where this stuff is coded. So resources static kidbank.css. So I think this will do what I want. So that way when I preview it, so if I go and refresh this page, not this page, this page, it all looks fine. And is the app running? No. Well, I'll start up the app and then I can take a look to make sure that that continues to work. So we'll let that run in the background. Okay, so what I want to do is, the header is fine. I have some, but so I want to get this kind of styled a bit more nicely. So I decided on, kind of went back and forth, and I decided I was going to use Bulma as my sort of lightweight CSS framework. So pretty much going to use a few of these things. So we're going to have a text input field, and we'll have error stuff around it for the amount and for the date. And we'll use this text area when we do the import CSV, and then we'll have a submit, a deposit, and sort of cancel. Because right now actually we don't have a cancel, so that'll be nice. The cancel will just basically go back to the root page. So we can just copy this and basically we'll stick this here at the top. We won't need all of it. So we're going to need a label, sorry, a field for, this one will be the date. We'll change the input type in a second. This one will be the amount, and we'll have to figure out how to do the changing it to errors. Basically what we're going to do is we're going to create the page to make it look like how we want to look, and then we'll stick in various th tags to get it to show up as needed. We don't need email. Basically we'll just want another duplicate of the other one, and we don't need the greater buttons or the controlled, but we will need the submit and the cancel link. Okay, so now if I refresh this page, we'll see weirdness because we haven't pulled in the Bulma CSS. So let's go and do that. And so we need the CSS file. We'll pull it in. I'm not going to do the npm thing because that's a whole other thing. What I do want to do is use the cdn.js. We'll also want to use the font awesome stuff. So let's copy that. And we'll put that in the head. I have no idea whether 531 is the latest or not, but we'll leave that in there. And what else? So we will need a responsive tag. So we'll stick that here. And what else? So this looks like 0.7.4. Let's see, is that actually the latest? So we'll go and look at the, can I figure out what the latest is? No, okay. So what I want, releases. Well, okay, 0.7.4 is the latest because that's what the download page says. So now we've got, we've set up the viewport to be responsive. We've pulled in the Bulma style sheet. We've thrown in the font awesome stuff. So now if we refresh the page, it should look different, and indeed it does. We need to put this in a container, is my guess. So we'll go back to the form stuff. So we'll use the field as a class as a container. So that's a form field, but the whole thing needs to be in something. These might come in handy. Let's see. So what I want it to look like, ooh, can have a drop down with the $sign. That's the form group stuff. Horizontal form. So what I'm missing though is basically a container for this whole thing. So I've got basically a field. This date is going to be of type date. We won't have a placeholder for this. We'll update this to time leaf in a bit. And yes, welcome to Amateur Hour in HTML and CSS. I need the thing to be in a container, so let's go up to our basic column stuff. So what we want is I don't want responsiveness just yet. I kind of just want like the basic thing. Modifiers, no. So I know it needs to go in some kind of container, but need like a quick start. So it's an overview, layout. Okay, so I think layout, yeah, container, that's what I want. Simple container. So do I just do a div class container? I don't know if I want a fluid container or not. Let's go here. So let's put this entire, let's put the entire form in a container and see what that looks like. All right, good. I wish they had just said that. And so I will get up on my soapbox and say, simple examples are really important. The next question is before we had sort of a horizontal layout, we had everything smushed together. I don't know what I want, but I think this form is currently quite a bit big, the way it looks. So let's see if we can make it maybe a little bit less wide. What does level do for us? So oh, this is interesting. This will probably help us when we want to lay out the account balance more nicely and switch over fully to Bulma. Section, what about a section? I guess we can put just the whole thing in a section. So we'll indent that, indent it once more. So this is a div class equals section. And then that div goes here. that gets indented. I guess I didn't necessarily, these don't want to be indented, and these don't want to be indented. Okay. So let's see what that looks like. That shouldn't change much. Yeah, it just adds basically some vertical space. So do I want top or left? I actually prefer left labels because they're easier to scan. So let's switch over to that. So form. I don't want the top. I want the form field on the left. Where do I do that? Can I do that? Yes, so I want a horizontal form. So that means I put is horizontal on the field container. So I do it on the field label for a side label. So what now? So what does this code look like? So I just put is horizontal on the field. All right. So let's see what that looks like if we do that for date. Date. That's here. So field is horizontal. Okay. That's not quite right because the spacing is off. The field label also needs to be is normal. So I have label class. So I've got the field. I don't have anything around the field label. So I guess I need to do that. So does that go around the label or the control as well? So that's the label. Then the field body. Let's see, I want a horizontal form control, so I use the is horizontal modifier in the field container. So that's this thing. And then field body for the input itself. So that is here. Field body. So field label for the side label, field body for the field body. So that's, so let's look at subject. That one looks pretty straightforward. Wow, this looks more complicated than I feel it should be. So here we've got is horizontal, label is normal. Horizontal label is normal. Then I've got the label class label. Close the div for the label, open up the div for the body. Oh, so it contains it. Okay. Yikes. This is pretty wordy. So we'll surround this by a div. A div with class equals field body. So actually I should have just copied and pasted this. Okay, so we got the field. This thing is horizontal. This thing is the field label is normal. Then I've got field body, and the field is nested. Oi, oi, oi. And then I've got control. So this, and then, okay. So I've got like 4 levels deep before I get to the input. And then I'd have a P after the div to display anything, any error messages, which we'll need. So where does that go? That goes Where does that go? So that goes after I close the control div. That is this one. Oops. So that's this one. Okay. So what does that look like now? Okay, that's good. The field's still quite a bit larger than I need, but no, that's okay for now. All right, so then we need to basically replicate that for amount. So it looks like so I don't actually want the icons right now. So let me take those out. So I'm going to pretty much so let's see, what does department do? So field is horizontal, field label is normal, field body, field is narrow. Oh, I can do field is narrow. Oh, let's try that. Because on my date field, I don't want it so wide. So I could do field is narrow on here. And then what does that look like? Ah, that's nicer. Okay. And then I pretty much am going to want similar. So I've got date and amount. So I want to do the same thing with amount. Just looking at, well, I want to have something like this. Now let's make it work, and then I can make it fancy. Okay, so I pretty much want the same thing for my amount. So this is, the label is amount, it's narrow, the control, this input, what do I want for amount? Amount, the input is basically type equals number, so it's basically this. So classical, so it's basically replaces this. I'm going to take this out for now until we finish getting it to the way we like it. Just so we can see what a sample message will look like. And all right, let's see what that looks like. Nice. Could be a bit smaller, but I think do we put is narrow on that as well? Can I make it more narrow? So I can put narrow, I can put, so on the div class control, can I say is narrow here? Will that make it narrower? I don't know. No, it didn't really make a difference, so I'll take it out. Okay, so that's cool. We've got amount, date, and we've got amount. We got this thing here, which is good. We need the source, and so this is going to be pretty much just a straight up text field. And so that's going to be very much like subject. So we'll grab this, and I think this is what we used for date as well. So put here, this is the, so we're on deposit. Deposit is the source. Source. We'll leave this is danger thing. It's a text. I don't think I want a placeholder. And eventually this is going to be replaced by the description. Yep, okay. So we do is danger here just to see what that looks like. Okay, so now if we refresh this, good. So we've got the date, got the amount, got the source. We need to line up the submit and cancel so that they're in the right place. I'd like some kind of header on this thing. But I guess I'll come back to that. So disabled forms, anything else in here? So question is, why aren't these lining up? That should line up. Oh, because it has to be marked as is horizontal, right? Okay. So this should be is. Can I do is grouped and is horizontal? Let's try that. Nope, that didn't do it. So what do they have here? So they have is they don't have is grouped, they just have is horizontal, and then field label, field body. Do I not have? Oh, okay, so I need the fancier thing. All right, let's grab this whole thing. So this is deposit money. And we will have then another control, which is like this. And we'll delete this and put the other thing here. Is that good enough? Let's see. Close. So we need these grouped together. So I think we need to do, so can I do is grouped? No. So how do I get, is the field body, is that grouped? Yeah, okay, that's what I want. All right, so I've got date, amount, source. I've got space for errors. And I've got my deposit money and cancel buttons. And so now I basically need to start transplanting these things. So we can get rid of this. The date th field up here is, where's the control? Here's the control. So that's th field date, so that'll pull it in from the, and let's actually just take this. And then we don't need these anymore. How do I create a submit button? I guess I'll, hopefully is primary will do the right thing, but if not, we'll see. Okay, so now we want to add the stuff for the amount. Let me move this down here. So the amount, I need the control stuff. I think the only thing I need is just the TH field. And that's here. And then I can wrap the error message with th if. So put that here. I'll probably have to fix this up to use there's a th time leaf error class that we'll want to use for sort of help is danger. Let's do, so actually that'll replace that with an error. Let's stick it on here as well. Okay, so what does that look like? Whoops, source is still there. Right, so now we just want to grab this and put that in our control, which is here. And now we're all good. Okay, so I'll still have to fix up the header stuff because it's being overridden by Bulma, but we'll find an appropriate thing there. Okay, let's now go to the application. And refresh let's go back to the home page. And we'll log in as parent and deposit money. Well, okay, so that didn't work because we didn't get the Kid Bank CSS, but hey, everything else works, sorta. What if we put in -100 here and we want to deposit money? And boom, we get the error message. So we'll have to play with that. But okay, so we'll get rid of the double messages, and these messages will key off of the right thing. But we're not seeing, let's see, so we've got the style sheet link, resources static. So this should have been replaced. This should have been replaced properly. I guess because it gets moved around so that it's just under the root. Okay, so we can fix that. So that's basically just that. And let's go back to the home page, click on deposit money. And okay, so we know Kid Bank CSS is being loaded here. And we still have our preview here. So we can clean this up so the error messages are only displayed when there's actually an error. So we can stick in a th if here. And so only if this has errors on date. And so the error message, the date must be today or in the past. So we can see how that works. This is danger is the error class, so I may as well fix that up. Error class. So that's th error class. And so we basically want th error class to be danger. So let's Let's do that. Is danger. We take it off of the input itself. So what will happen is if there's an error, it will tack on this is danger class to the class, so it will show up as an error. All right. So cool. Now if we did negative 100, so now we get the error around it. Now we just got to figure out whose message are we showing there. Let's put in 22 here. That should have triggered a future date. I'll have to check into that. So we need to decide what error message we're showing here. The th if is there, th errors. That's what we want, and so we'll get rid of this div. So this if will mean that the paragraph won't show up, but it will only show up if there are errors. That's the class we want to show, and that's the errors that we want to show that will replace the contents here. Okay. So let's try that. Sure. Why are we still seeing both? Oh, I forgot to do this. Okay. We might want to play with this error message. It seems like it's a tad small, but that's okay. And it only shows red if, as a box, if this has an error. Need to, let's see, haha. So gift, something like that. This one actually will never have errors, so we can, we could put a thif here. So sort of the same thing. This will be actually pretty standard, right? So it'll be this thing, and instead of, so we'll replace this and take this, move that here. In reality, we're not going to have any errors, or at least we haven't had any validation errors on description, so this will basically just never show up. But if it does, then the form will already have it, so that's cool. All right, let's refresh. Why is this red? Because we didn't do the same thing on here. This is the error class. So this is th error class. Okay. And so now, if we refresh this, we should get, okay. So this is the only one that's having an error. This should also be an error. Either our validation is wrong or there's something else going on. So let's take a look. Well, we certainly want to have the error message displayed. For date, right? So basically this thif error has errors date. And then we want here, we want th error class equals is danger. Okay, so I think that's correct now. So that's interesting. It should be giving us an error. So so we've got date. We do have I wonder if the error message isn't coming through. All right, well, I'll worry about that probably tomorrow. But what I want to finish up is let's have a proper date. Let's see. So what I would like is now some kind of header. So let's look at what else we've got. Is it a layout? That's tiles. So that's not what I want. So let's look at elements. We want some kind of title, not tile. Title and subtitle. Okay. So basically just H1. Okay. So let's stick in over here. We'll stick in deposit money. And so do I want it there? Is that good? Feels a little bit over to the left, but on the other hand, maybe that's okay. And up here we can do an H2. For this H1, we can say class equals title. And so what does that look like? Okay. So what does subtitle look like? Subtitle. Okay. Do subtitle 2. So what does that look like? That's too big. How about just subtitle? That's good. I probably do want to apply, or I could just do it like this. Yeah, that's okay. I'll probably switch around the fonts that I currently have in Kid Bank CSS to clean that up. Okay, so we've got our deposit money form. Cancel needs somewhere to go. Whoops. What else do I want? Those are just variables. What else? What else do I need here? So I've got I need to figure out the date thing. But I've got that stuff. Got these. Cancel button needs to go somewhere, so we need to fix that. Wonder what happens to cancel. Is that basically a reset? Because eventually I want that a link to go back to the home page, so I'll have to figure out what cancel actually does. notification. Probably stick in some icons for the $sign. So if we go back to the form, input, we've got colors. Do I want is medium on these? So I can do has icons left, and then we'll need a modifier on the icon. So what does that look like? So the control has icons left. And then I need a span for the icon itself. Let's put that in. So we'll add has icons left to our control. And this is for the amount one. So that's this one. And so we add has icons left. And then before the control itself, still inside of the control, we need a span for the icon. So we'll put that here. So this span, I don't know why the indentation is not working right here. Span, icons. So what do I use for icons? Icon is left. Icon is small is left. And I want the font awesome $. I know there was an example somewhere. That used the $sign. Thought I saw one with a $sign. There it is. Oh, that was a drop-down select. So, yeah, that wasn't a font awesome. All right, so let's go font awesome, icons, $sign. And so it's what? FA $sign. Okay. So FA $sign. Let's see what that looks like. Okay. That's cool. Could put a little calendar thingy here. So it'll be what? Just FA calendar? What is the difference between these two? Let's just go with that one. So that's just FA calendar. Okay. So let's add another one here. So that's this thing. That's the amount. We're going to go add it to the date. And that's FA calendar. And this is what was it? Has icon. Add icons left. Icon or icons? Icons. Okay. So what does that look like now? That's kind of cool. Okay. All right. Well, I think I am going to consider this done for the styling. I'll have to clean up the header and convert over to Bulma. I still like my font choices for this stuff, but so what happens if we cancel? We need cancel to actually be a link that goes back to root. Spend money, because I like this layout stuff, but we'll have to fix that. We'll then apply it to the same thing here. So the question is, does this work? If I specify that, and it's 100. So there is an error somewhere. Otherwise, it would have just put it in. But why is that error not being propagated? All right. Well, I'm going to call it now. We'll figure out why the error for amount is being displayed, but the error for the date in the future is not being propagated. I guess I can copy this over to spend and see what it does over there. That's here. And errors on date, that, and just won't have a class. So what does that look like for spend? Yeah, don't know. All right, I'll figure that out tomorrow. Okay, so that was it for this evening's ad hoc, me fumbling around with styling HTML. And there's a reason why I'm not a front-end engineer. All right, I'm not sure who all you viewers are, but have a good night.